Folks, I'm Ryan7. Today is day 45 of the 18-year journey to read every single DC comic ever released. So let's get into the 10 comics I have read today. Starting with Adventure Comics number 61, we get introduced to Starman. Starman is a guy named Ted Knight. Alright, basically what happens in the story, is there's a bunch of bad guys. Okay, well, let's ignore the bad guys for now. There's a blackout. There's a complete blackout. Communications go out, lights go out, power goes out, everything goes out. So, the president, noticing this, goes, I need to summon Starman. So he activates his little thing, his little beeper, which can call Starman for some reason. At a party, there's a party, okay? Ted Knight is at this party with his friend, who is a woman. And they're talking, and his friend is a woman, is like, you're a coward. And then the lights go out, and everybody's panicking, and, Ted obviously disappears because he gets the call. And she's like, wow, he's a coward. He ran away from here. But secretly, Ted is Starman, who uses a little magical wand to get his little magical powers, and he does his little magical things. So, Starman uses his wand to fly over the president. President explains the situation. Hey, there's a blackout going on. It's clearly nefarious. Figure it out. Get rid of this guy. So Starman starts investigating, okay? He finds, a thug who's like, don't hurt me with that magic wand thing, and I'll lead you to the leader. So he leads him to the leader, who is Dr. Oog, an evil old bald scientist, which is kind of a trope back then, and also today. So he finds Dr. Oog. Dr. Oog, traps him a couple times. There's, a little trapdoor gimmick where Dr. Oog tries to drop Starman into the trapdoor, because Starman, he just kind of hovers over it. Anyways, at the end of the day, Starman saves the day with his little magic wand thing. And it's a freaking cool-ass magic wand thing. Don't call it little again, punk. Fuck you calling it little for? Moving on to All American Comics number 25. We have a nice Green Lantern feature. This one was pretty boring. It's pretty, not boring, but standard. Pretty standard. It's just like racketeering shit. It's not racketeering technically, but it's racketeering shit. There's a group who tries to sabotage the steel mill, and Green Lantern stops them from sabotaging the steel mill. That's all you need to know. No. Moving on to All Star Comics number 4. This is the big one, folks. This is the big one of the day. This is the banger. This is the big important one that I'm gonna put in the title and thumbnail. The JSA. Technically, last time I talked about the JSA was their first appearance, right? But that wasn't their first outing as a team, because they weren't, it was just their first meeting, where they just talked about their best individual adventures. This one, though, is their first outing as a team, which is kind of as a team, but not really. They're ordered by the president to battle spies and saboteurs in America. And that's their job. And they do that. And there's, individual stories following each one of them. And it's Nazis. They're, all fighting Nazis. And they're separate, right? They don't do it as a team. They do it separately, and then, come together as a team at the end. And they, say, you go there, you go there, you go there, you go to this state, you go to this state, and that's, the individual stories for each one of them. Dr. Fate, Flash, Spectre, etc., etc. They do this shit, they come back together at the end, and woohoo. The only times they're together the only times they are together are at the beginning and the end. But, nevertheless, it's pretty fun comic. I didn't mind it. Also, I think, from what I remember, it's a single story. It's just this story. And it's 60 pages, which I think is the first time that's happened. And at least on my journey, it's the first time this has happened in DC Comics. Maybe it's happened in Marvel or some other company before, but this is the first time it's happened in DC Comics. It's just one continuous story for, 60 pages in a comic book. Blue Beetle number 6. That's what we're moving on to. Blue Beetle number 6. I don't have anything interesting to say about this. Blue Beetle is, okay in Mystery Men, but then in, the Blue Beetle comics, it's just, it's still okay, right? I just don't have much to say about it. Crack Comics number 12. Not much to say about that one either. Neon the Unknown was there. Or was that Hit Comics? No, that's Crack Comics. No, that was Hit Comics. Sorry, I get the two mixed up sometimes for some reason. Anyways, moving on to Detective Comics number 50, the big 50. This is a big number. It's an important number. And of course, for such an important number, they have an important story. I'm just realizing one of my eyebrows is like curved and the other isn't. It's like weird. That's not important. Okay, this is a good one. I was about to shit on it. This is a really good one. This is a really good one. Batman and Robin are patrolling when they see three guys on the roofs dressed in devil costumes. Batman's like, what the hell is that? Let's go over and confront them. They get attacked by the devils. They gotta fight the devils. Turns out the devils are a group of acrobat thieves. They're really good acrobats too. They're like jumping and flipping and swinging on stuff, and they're like really good acrobats. So Batman and Robin have to consider how to deal with these guys after they escape. And Robin is also an acrobat also, but just not as good as the three devils. All right, he's not as good. The devils are better at acrobatography than Robin is. So, they track the devils across the nation. They're trying across Gotham, right? They track them throughout, and they do their duty. They eventually find the acrobats at like a jeweler. The acrobats are selling their shit. They're selling their shit. So they jump in and they stop them and they start fighting them. There's three thieves that come in that were working with the acrobats. So now they're fighting the three acrobats, the jewel dealer, and the thieves. And eventually, they win. They beat the acrobats. The best part of this comic is fucking Robin, dude. Robin gets screwed over so many times. At the beginning of the comic, he gets jumped on while he's swinging across rooftops, okay? Like a few panels later, he gets elbowed in the stomach and knocked unconscious. That's like there's 3 times he gets like knocked unconscious here. And then like 2 of those times he gets socked in the stomach. There's also a point where he's knocked unconscious and thrown onto a train track and the train almost runs over him, but he just barely gets under it. He's under the train. And, he really was not having a good time in this comic. Whoever wrote this, they fucked him, dude. They fucked him. They did not like him. I don't know why Bill Finger was so mad at Robin, but he was. Moving on, Feature Comics 43. Fuck Feature Comics, man. I'm not talking about that shit. Worst part of my day, still the worst part of my day. Still the worst part of my day. And nothing bad happened today, so I don't know. Flash Comics 16. This one was pretty fun. There's a silver mine that Flash's friend owns. Some guys kidnap Joan Carter because they want to know where the silver mine is. Oh, no, because they know she's connected to the Flash. So they're like, okay, we'll kidnap her to get to the Flash. Flash comes and saves her, turns invisible, pretends, makes them think they killed him, follows them to the silver mine where they want to go and steal from. And, Flash stops them, and then the leader of the group eventually gets out of prison and becomes the sheriff himself, which is pretty big. So it's a little confusing how far down the line he becomes the sheriff, but I guess it happens. I'd assume within months, but it would probably be within years. So I don't really know how that happened. Anyways, moving on to Hit Comics number 10. Neon the Unknown does some stuff. I don't really want to talk about it. It was not as good as his first comic. It's just nothing will hold a special place in my heart like Neon the Unknown versus the Tibetan Monks does. Moving on to Master Comics number 13, we have the origin of Bullet Girl. As I talked about last episode, Bullet Man, unconscious, mask off, his girl finds him, and she's like, whoa, you're Bullet Man. He's like, yep, you are going to my house, and you're going to stay there until I get back from dealing with this crime thing. Then he goes off and deals with some crime things that have absolutely nothing to do with the stuff from last issue. It's not Triple That. It's just a different guy. It's just a different guy now. And this guy's boring. He's just like a racketeer, I think, from what I remember. My memory's a little bit foggy on this. But basically, Bullet Man does his shit. He actually fails and gets captured, but his girl, now Bullet Girl, because she stole the helmet and the serum, comes in and saves him. And he's like, you're never doing that again. But, we'll find out if she's a permanent sidekick or if he's serious about this and you're never doing that again stuff. Anyways, that is 10 comics. I hope you all enjoyed. My sickness is coming to a close, so I'm hoping, I don't really know. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Goodbye, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!